His blindness is an opportunity for us. Yes, and we will be in control.
And take over his company.
Chinedu Akoli stood in his Banana Island mansion office, reviewing quarterly reports from Akoli Pharmaceuticals. At 45, he was one of Nigeria's youngest self-made billionaires. But his greatest achievement wasn't his wealth. It was keeping his family together. 20 years ago, their father died from a massive heart attack. 6 months later, their mother died of grief, leaving 4 orphan siblings. Chinedu at 25, Adana at 23, Emeka at 20, and Obiageli at 18. At their mother's deathbed, Chinedu had promised, "We're all we have now. I'll take care of you. All of you will stay together. We're family." For 20 years, he'd kept that promise, funding their entire lives while building his empire. "Chinedu, have you seen my car keys?" Adana's voice called sharply from downstairs. "On the hook by the garage door, where they always are," he replied, heading down to find his older sister looking irritated. She swept past without thanks, grabbing keys to the Range Rover he'd bought her. "Don't wait up for dinner." The door closed. Chinedu stood alone in the mansion he'd built for all of them, Adana's suite in the East Wing. Obiageli's in the West, Emeka in the guest house. None of them worked. All lived off his generosity. "Sir, your breakfast is ready," came Ngozi Okafor's gentle voice. His head housemaid of 15 years. She was the one person who genuinely cared about his well-being rather than his bank account. As he ate, Ngozi hesitated. "Sir, I noticed Miss Adana was in your office last night, after you'd gone to bed, going through papers. She probably needed something. She's welcome to use my office." "Yes, sir." Ngozi's tone suggested doubt, but she said no more. Emeka burst in, still in pajamas at 10 a.m. "Bro, amazing business opportunity. Guy importing luxury cars from Dubai, needs investors. The last 3 opportunities cost me 2 million naira each and produced nothing," Chinedu said. "This is different. I need 5 million. Guaranteed returns." Chinedu studied his 40-year-old brother, who'd never held a real job. 3 million. But this is the last time. "Perfect. You won't regret this." Emeka rushed out, already on his phone. Ngozi cleared dishes silently. "You think I'm being foolish," Chinedu said. "I think you have a generous heart, sir. And some people see generosity as weakness to exploit." Obiageli appeared in an expensive outfit. "Chinedu, I need a tiny favor. There's this charity gala, and I need a new dress. 800,000 naira. For one dress? It's designer. And for charity. Mom would want me representing the family well. The mention of their mother. Always a trump card. Fine, but this is it for this month. You're the best." She kissed his cheek and left, already calling the boutique. That evening, as Chinedu prepared to leave for a business dinner, Adana cornered him. "We need to talk. We're worried about you. You're 45, working constantly, no wife, no children. Remember Chioma from 5 years ago?" Chinedu's jaw tightened. He'd loved Chioma, planned to propose. Then she'd ended things, saying his sisters were sabotaging them. "She wasn't right for you," Adana continued. "After your money. We saw it clearly. When the right woman comes, we'll welcome her. But until then, you have us. We're all we have. Chinedu, just like you promised, Mom." After she left, Chinedu sat in his car, the deathbed promise echoing in his mind. He'd kept it, provided everything. So why did he feel so alone? The business dinner ran late. After 11 p.m., Chinedu drove home through Lagos traffic, crossing the 3rd Mainland Bridge. He didn't see the drunk driver until too late. The pickup truck slammed into his Range Rover at full speed. Glass shattered, metal twisted. The airbag exploded. Chinedu's head cracked against the window despite the airbag. Then darkness. He woke to distant voices and medical terms. His head felt split in two. When he tried to open his eyes, nothing, only darkness. Severe head trauma. Damage to the occipital lobe. Is he going to be okay? Adana's voice, high with panic. "We've stabilized him, but there's significant damage." Days later, still in darkness, a doctor delivered a verdict. The CT scan shows damage to the optic nerve. I'm afraid the blindness may be permanent. Blindness. The word crushed him. Can't, see? Chinedu whispered. I know, brother, Adana said, taking his hand. But you're alive. We're going to take care of you. I promise. Over the following days, he learned the full extent. Fractured skull, traumatic brain injury, complete blindness, 5% chance of recovery. We'll help you, Emeka said. You've always been there for us. Now we'll be there for you. Family takes care of family, Obiageli added. As they comforted him, Chinedu felt tears fall. 45 years old, blind, completely dependent. But at least he had family. In the hallway outside, after they thought he'd fallen asleep, Chinedu's heightened hearing caught every word. This changes everything, Adana said quietly. What do you mean? Obiageli asked. He can't run the company like this. He's going to need us for everything. So we help him, Emeka said. Pause. Then Adana's voice, cold and calculating. Yes, we help him. And in the process, this might actually be our opportunity. Opportunity for what? To finally get what we deserve, what we've been waiting for. You mean? I mean our brother is finally vulnerable. And vulnerable people need to be protected. Protected and managed. Adana, I don't know if... We'll discuss this at home. Away from here. Their footsteps faded, leaving Chinedu alone in darkness, cold dread settling in his chest. What had Adana meant by opportunity? By managed? He pushed the thought away. He must have misheard. These were his siblings, the people he'd raised. They loved him. They were family. In the darkness of his hospital room, Chinedu Akoli had no way of knowing that the accident that took his sight was about to reveal truths that would shatter everything he believed about family, loyalty, and love. The real nightmare was only beginning. Chinedu has lost his sight in a terrible accident. He sacrificed everything to raise his siblings after their parents died, and now he's blind and helpless. His siblings seem devastated. But what did Adana mean by our opportunity? What do you think will happen now that Nigeria's most powerful billionaire is blind and dependent on the only family he has left? Drop your predictions in the comments, hit that like button, and subscribe to African Tales by Zion because the next chapter reveals what these siblings really think about their brother. 6 weeks after the accident, Chinedu sat in his study, feeling more helpless than ever. The darkness was absolute, unrelenting. His siblings had promised the best care, but something had changed. Chinedu, you need to eat, Adana said sharply, guiding a spoon to his mouth. Open up. I can feed myself, he protested, reaching for the spoon. You'll spill it everywhere. Just let me help you. This was his life now, being led everywhere, being told where to sit, what to wear, when to eat. His independence stripped away. Sir, please let me. Ngozi's voice came from the doorway. Ngozi, we've got this. Adana cut her off. You have other duties. Chinedu heard Ngozi retreat. She'd been the only one treating him like himself, but his siblings pushed her away, insisting family should take care of family. After breakfast, Emeka arrived to help with business documents. This is a government contract for anti-malarial distribution. Emeka said, looks good. They're offering 50 million Nigerian nairas for 3 years. Read me the terms again, Chinedu requested. It's all standard stuff. Really, you should just sign it. Emeka, I need to hear all the terms. Bro, I'm trying to help. Trust me, it's good. Trust me. Chinedu felt frustration rising. Before the accident, he would have read every word. Now he was dependent on others. Fine. Where do I sign? What Chinedu couldn't see was that the document wasn't a government contract at all. It was a property transfer form, signing over his Abuja buildings to Emeka's shell company. That afternoon, alone in his study, Chinedu heard voices from the next room. We need to move faster, Adana was saying. He's starting to ask questions. So what do we do? Obiageli asked. We get him declared mentally incompetent. He's blind, isolated, dependent. We control what he knows. Then we get power of attorney and control everything. That's going too far. Emeka protested weakly. Is it? Who's going to question us protecting our poor blind brother? What about Ngozi? Emeka asked. We'll fire her. We can't have anyone actually caring about him. Chinedu sat frozen, barely breathing. This couldn't be real. When Emeka asked, another month or two, let him get more dependent. Then we make our move. That night, Ngozi found him holding their mother's scarf. Sir, are you all right? Do you believe in karma, Ngozi? I've spent 20 years sacrificing for them. And now... Sir, there are things you need to know. They're stealing, forging signatures, selling properties. I know, Chinedu said quietly. I heard them tonight, planning to have me declared incompetent. What will you do? I don't know. I'm blind. I can't prove anything. How do I fight people who control everything I see or don't see? We need to get you help. Lawyers, authorities. Who will believe me over them? They're my devoted siblings caring for their poor blind brother. Ngozi knelt beside him. I'll testify to what I've seen. I'll help you. And they'll fire you, discredit you. I don't care, sir. You've been good to me for 15 years. I won't watch them destroy you. Chinedu squeezed her hand gratefully. You're the only honest person left in my life. As she helped him to his room, Neither saw Dana watching from shadows, rage twisting her face. That maid was becoming a problem. Chinedu lay in bed, staring into the darkness. Somewhere in the house, his siblings were probably celebrating their latest theft. And then, as he blinked, something happened. A flicker, a ghost of sensation. For a split second, he thought he saw something. A shadow? Light? It was gone so fast he convinced himself he'd imagined it. But then it happened again. A blurry shape where his hand should be. Chinedu's heart raced. Was his sight returning? He blinked again, concentrated. There, definitely something. The darkness wasn't quite as absolute. If his vision was coming back, it changed everything. He could see what they were doing. Gather proof. Fight back. But he had to be careful. If they knew he could see, they might accelerate their plans. He needed to pretend. Continue being the helpless blind brother, while secretly regaining his weapon. As night deepened, Chinedu made his decision. He would play the blind victim. But behind those unseeing eyes, he would watch, learn, and when the time was right, he would show his siblings that the greatest blindness wasn't physical. It was the blindness of greed, of betrayal, of taking family for granted. And that kind of blindness came with consequences they couldn't imagine. Chinedu's own siblings are destroying him. The brother and sisters he raised, the ones he sacrificed everything for. They're calling him the blind fool, stealing millions, and plotting to declare him mentally incompetent. These are the people he promised his dying mother he'd protect. Only Ngozi is loyal, but they're planning to fire her. What would you do if your own brother and sisters betrayed you like this? Comment below. Smash that like button if you're angry at these siblings. And subscribe to African Tales by Zion, because the next chapter is where everything changes. Over the next 3 days, Chinedu's vision gradually returned. First as blurry shapes, then increasingly clear images, until finally, on the 4th morning, he woke to see his bedroom ceiling in perfect detail. He could see. The joy was overwhelming. He sat up, looking at his hands, furniture, the morning light. Everything was beautiful, miraculous. He reached for his phone, actually reached for it, seeing it clearly, and was about to call his siblings when he heard voices in the hallway. Did you see how easily he signed those papers yesterday? Emeka's voice smug. I told you it would work, Adana replied. Another few weeks, and we'll have him so confused he won't remember his own name. Chinedu's hand froze. His siblings were right outside, having a conversation because they believed he couldn't see what they were doing. He made a split-second decision. He wouldn't tell them. Not yet. Not until he understood the full extent of their betrayal. Quietly, he lay back down, closed his eyes, and arranged his face into the helpless expression he'd worn for 6 weeks. When Adana entered, she found him exactly as expected, her blind, vulnerable brother. Good morning, Chinedu. How did you sleep? Fine, he said, keeping his eyes closed. What time is it? Almost 9. We can have breakfast together. Then Emeka has more documents. More theft disguised as help. As Adana guided him to breakfast, unnecessarily grabbing his arm, Chinedu could see everything. The expensive designer handbag, new and bought with his money. The stack of mail hidden behind the fruit bowl. The way she smirked when she thought he couldn't see. It took every ounce of self-control not to react. At breakfast, Obiageli wore a diamond bracelet that had belonged to their mother. His mother's favorite piece, worn casually as if it were nothing. After breakfast, Emeka arrived with documents. Chinedu watched through barely open eyes as his brother laid out papers. These weren't business documents. They were property transfers, bank authorizations, and a power of attorney giving his siblings complete control. Just a few things to sign. Emeka said, "This first one is routine financial authorization." "Read it to me," Chinedu said. It says, "I, Chinedu Akoli, hereby authorize my siblings to manage my financial affairs." Standard stuff. That wasn't what it said at all. The actual wording surrendered all control permanently. Chinedu signed, but messily, deliberately unclear. If this ended up in court, he'd claim forgery. Over the following week, Chinedu maintained his act while watching everything, and what he saw broke his heart. He watched Obiageli steal their mother's jewelry at night. She held up their mother's wedding earrings, the ones her father had saved for months to buy, examined them clinically, and dropped them into her purse. He watched Emeka forge his signature on document after document, getting better with practice. He watched Adana on calls with lawyers, discussing the process for having someone declared incompetent. She took detailed notes, planning methodically. But the worst came one evening when they thought he was asleep. They gathered in his library, discussing their plans. "The facility in Abuja is perfect," Adana said. "Private, discreet, with flexible staff." "You mean they'll keep him drugged and quiet?" Emeka said bluntly. "Sedated for his own well-being." That's how the medical records will phrase it. Chinedu's blood ran cold. They weren't just stealing his money. They were planning to lock him away. "How long until we move forward?" Obiageli asked. "Another month. We need more documentation of his confusion. I've been keeping notes every time he signs without reading. Every time he seems disoriented." "What about Ngozi?" Emeka asked. "She's been terminated. I gave her notice this morning. She'll be gone by week's end." Chinedu felt his hands clench. Ngozi, who'd been loyal for 15 years, fired to eliminate the one person who might protect him. "Good," Obiageli said. "She was too nosy. Once she's gone," Adana continued, "we'll be the only ones with access. We control who visits, who he speaks to, what information he receives. Then we'll have everything." "Everything he should have shared with us in the beginning," Adana said bitterly. "We deserve to be partners, not charity cases. Mom and Dad would want us all to share equally." Obiageli added, "Their mother would have been horrified. Their father would have disowned them. You know what bothers me?" Emeka said, "Even blind and helpless, he still acts like he's better than us." "That's because he's arrogant," Adana spat. "Always a successful one. The smart one. Well, now we'll see how smart he is locked in a facility." "To karma," Obiageli said, and glasses clinked. They were toasting his downfall with his wine, in his home, while he sat listening. After they left, Chinedu let silent tears fall. These were the children he'd raised, and they hated him, not despite everything he'd done, but because of it. A soft knock. "Sir," Ngozi's voice said. "Come in." She entered, eyes red from crying. "Sir, I'm sorry. Miss Adana gave me notice. She said the family is restructuring." "I know. I heard her tell the others." Ngozi was quiet. "Sir, I've documented everything. Bank statements, documents, evidence. I can help you prove." "Ngozi," he interrupted gently. He opened his eyes fully and looked directly at her. She gasped, "Sir, you can see." "Keep your voice down." "They can't know." "Not yet." "How long?" "A week. The doctor said it was a medical miracle." He smiled bitterly. "Though watching your family destroy you isn't exactly miraculous. Then you've seen everything? Everything. And heard their plans. They're going to lock me away. We have to stop them. Police, lawyers. I am, but quietly. I need evidence that will stand up in court. Ngozi, take the severance and disappear for a few weeks. I need them to think you're gone. But when the time is right, I'll need you to testify. They might discredit me. I know. That's why we need to be smart. Do you still have those copies? The documents? Yes, at my sister's house. Good. That's our insurance. After she left, Chinedu began documenting everything. He took photos with his phone, siblings going through his office, Obiageli stealing jewelry, Emeka forging signatures. He saved emails they thought he'd never see. He also contacted people outside, Barrister Chukwuma, Mrs. Adelika's accountant, Inspector Okoro from police. The trap was being set, but it required patience, timing, and performance of a lifetime. That night, Chinedu looked at family photos. Photos of siblings who'd once loved each other, or so he thought. When had they changed? Or had they always been this way, his love blinding him to their true nature? Perhaps he'd been blind long before the accident, blind to their resentment, their entitlement, their capacity for betrayal. But now he could see, and sight was the most powerful weapon of all. Chinedu can see again, but his siblings don't know it. He's watching his own brother and sisters steal from him, mock him, and they even fired Ngozi for defending him. These are the siblings he raised after their parents died, the ones he sacrificed his whole life for. They're planning to lock him in a facility and keep him drugged. What should Chinedu do now? Expose them immediately or gather more evidence? Tell us in the comments. Hit that like button if you want justice for Chinedu, and subscribe to African Tales by Zion because the next chapter is where the trap is set. 2 weeks after Chinedu's sight returned, he'd transformed from victim to strategist. Every morning, he put on his blindness like a costume, unseeing eyes, hesitant movements, dependent demeanor. But behind that facade, he was building a case to destroy them. One morning at breakfast, Chinedu made an announcement. I have a doctor's appointment today. For my eyes. They want to run some tests. Do you want it to come with you? Adana asked. No. The driver will take me. It's just routine follow-up. You have your lunch plans anyway. Are you sure? I can cancel. I'm sure, sister. I'll be fine. At 10 a.m., his trusted driver, Ibrahim, who'd been with him for 20 years, long before the siblings' move-in, arrived. Ibrahim was one of the few people who knew Chinedu could see again. Doctor's appointment, sir? Ibrahim said loudly for the siblings to hear. Yes. Thank you, Ibrahim. Chinedu replied, putting on his dark glasses and letting Ibrahim guide him to the car. Once in the vehicle and away from the estate, Chinedu removed his glasses. Take me to Barrister Chukwuma's private office, the one on Adeolo Dika Street. Yes, sir. They're waiting for you. In a private office across town, Chinedu met with his team, Barrister Chukwuma, Mrs. Adelika's accountant, Inspector Okoro from police, and Chidima Ease, a private investigator. The evidence is overwhelming, Barrister Chukwuma said. 2.8 billion Nigerian naira stolen. Forged signatures on 47 documents. Unauthorized property sales totaling 800 million Nigerian nairas. And medical documentation of their institutionalization plan. How did you get that? Chinedu asked. The doctor your sister tried to bribe came to us instead. Dr. Okonkwo was horrified. She's willing to testify. Inspector Okoro added, We've documented the parties, luxury purchases, everything funded with your money. Chidima pulled up footage. This is your sister Obiageli, the jeweler, selling your mother's sapphire necklace for 12 million Nigerian nairas. Chinedu watched jaw tight. His mother's favorite necklace, haggled over like worthless costume jewelry. And this, Chidima continued, is your brother Emeka at a nightclub, bragging about his blind idiot brother who signs whatever he puts in front of him. The video showed drunk Emeka boasting to friends. He can't see anything. I could put a divorce paper in front of him and he'd sign it. Easiest money ever. His friends erupted in laughter. Chinedu forced himself to stay calm. Emotion had no place in strategy. "We have enough to arrest them now," Inspector Okoro said. "No," Chinedu said firmly. "Not yet." "Why not?" "I need them to reveal themselves completely. Right now, they could claim good intentions. I need them on record, unambiguously showing their true motivations." Barrister Chakuma nodded. "You want them to incriminate themselves beyond any defense." "Exactly. Video, audio, witnesses. I want them to have no escape. And I want the world to see who they really are." "How?" Inspector Okoro asked. Chinedu smiled coldly. "I'm going to give them what they've been working toward. I'm going to offer to sign complete power of attorney over to Adana." The room went silent. "You're going to what?" "I'll call a family meeting. Tell them I'm tired, that I need help, that I'm ready to put my affairs in their hands. They'll think they've won. And then we record everything. Their real reactions, their true feelings, their plans. We let them celebrate, let them reveal themselves. And when they've incriminated themselves beyond doubt, that's when we strike." Over the next week, Chinedu had hidden cameras and microphones installed throughout his mansion. Inspector Okoro ensured it was all legal. Chinedu's own home, his property, his right to surveil. Meanwhile, Chinedu continued his performance, becoming even more helpless, confused, dependent. He forgot conversations, signed without questions, relied on them for everything. They ate it up. "He's deteriorating faster than expected," Adana told the others one evening. "Did you see him at lunch? Couldn't remember if he'd eaten breakfast." "Good for us," Emeka said. "Makes the incompetency claim stronger." "Should we move up our timeline?" Obiagili asked. 2 more weeks. I want him completely broken first." But Chinedu wasn't broken. He was watching, listening, documenting. Every cruel word, every theft, every betrayal, all recorded. He also reached out Ngozi through encrypted messages. "I'm scared, sir," she texted. "Trust me, I've been blind and now I can see. And what I see is the end of their game." Finally, Chinedu made his move. At breakfast with all 3 siblings present, he made his announcement. "I need to talk to you all. I've been thinking about my situation, about the future. I'm tired of fighting this blindness, tired of pretending I can manage on my own. You were right. Adana, I need help." His siblings exchanged quick glances. "What is it, brother?" Adana asked. "I want to arrange a formal meeting. Tomorrow evening. With lawyers. I'm ready to sign power of attorney over to you. Adana, you can manage everything. I can't do this anymore." The silence was electric. "Are you sure?" Adana asked, barely containing her glee. "I'm sure. I've been selfish, holding on to control when I can't handle it. You're my family. If I can't trust you, who can I trust?" "This is the right decision." Obiagili gushed. "We'll take such good care of everything." "I know you will. Tomorrow evening, 7 o'clock. After he left, his siblings erupted in celebration. Thanks to hidden cameras, Chinedu could see and hear everything. Finally, Emeka shouted, "I thought this day would never come." "Did you see his face?" Obiagili laughed. "So defeated, so broken." "Because he is broken," Adana said. "We broke him. Now everything becomes ours. What should we do first?" Emeka asked. "Sell the commercial buildings. Quick sales, liquid assets. Then sell the pharmaceutical company to that Chinese conglomerate. Won't that raise questions?" "Who's going to question us? We'll have legal power of attorney. And once we have the money, we put him in that Abuja facility. For how long? Forever. He'll spend the rest of his life drugged, while we live like royalty." "To Karma," Obiagili said, raising a glass. Chinedu watched the video feed, recording every damning word. That evening, Adana came to discuss the meeting. "I'm so proud of you, Chinedu. This takes real strength." "I'm just being practical. Tomorrow will be simple. Just signatures. I've arranged for Barrister Ogunlade to handle it. A corrupt lawyer who'd do whatever Adana wanted. What about Barrister Chukwuma? He's been my lawyer for years." I thought someone more specialized. But if you prefer... No, you're right. Someone specialized makes sense. After she left, Chinidu smiled. The trap was set. He called Barrister Chukwuma. Everything's in place for tomorrow, 7 p.m. Make sure Inspector Okoro and his team are ready. They'll be in position. That night, Chinidu walked through his mansion, looking at family photos, his parents' wedding, family gatherings, celebrations, all lies, or rather, the truth had always been there. He'd just been too blind to see it. He stopped at his mother's photo. I'm sorry, Mama. I tried to keep my promise. But they don't want to be cared for. They want to be rich. And they're willing to destroy me to get there. As dawn broke, Chinidu stood on his balcony, watching the sunrise. The last sunrise before everything changed. Tomorrow, the mask would come off. The truth would be revealed. And 3 siblings who plotted to steal everything would discover he'd seen every moment of their betrayal. They thought they were attending a signing ceremony. They were walking into their own judgment day. The trap is set. Chinidu has evidence of everything. Nigerian naira 2.8 billion stolen by his own siblings. Tomorrow, Adana, Emeka, and Obiageli think they're getting power over his empire, but they have no idea he can see. Cameras are rolling. Ngozi is ready to return and witness justice. These are his brother and sisters, the ones he raised after their parents died. What do you think will happen at this meeting? Drop your predictions. Smash that like button. And subscribe to African Tales by Zion, because the next chapter is the epic confrontation you've been waiting for. 7 p.m. arrived with the weight of Judgment Day. Chinidu sat behind his mahogany desk, dark glasses on, posture suggesting blindness and vulnerability. Hidden cameras in the crown molding captured everything. A panic button under the desk connected to Inspector Okoro's team waiting nearby. The room had witnessed his rise to power. Tonight, it would witness his siblings' fall. At precisely 7, the door opened. Adana entered in designer clothes bought with his money. Emeka followed in an expensive suit. Obiageli came last, dripping in their mother's stolen jewelry. Behind them, Barrister Ogunlade, the corrupt lawyer, carried documents transferring everything to his siblings. Brother, thank you for this, Adana said sweetly. I know it wasn't easy. Family is family, Chinidu replied, voice carefully tired and defeated. They arranged themselves around the desk. Barrister Ogunlade laid out documents in deliberately complicated language. This first document grants power of attorney over all financial matters. Your sister Adana will have full authority. For my protection, Chinidu said. Exactly. We're trying to protect you. Obiageli chimed in. And this second document authorizes the sale of certain assets for your ongoing care and medical expenses. Medical expenses? Chinidu asked, injecting confusion. For the facility, Adana explained smoothly. We found excellent care in Abuja. Very private, very comfortable. A facility? I thought I was staying here. Well, we've been discussing it. You need more specialized care than we can provide. Professional supervision, therapists. When would I go? Soon. Within the week. We've already paid the deposit. With my money, Chinidu said, for your benefit. Of course. You're taking care of me, just like I took care of you for 20 years. Something in his tone made Adana pause, but she pressed on. Exactly. Family takes care of family. Funny, Chinidu said quietly. I've been thinking about Mom and Dad. What would they think about all this? They would approve, Obiageli said quickly. Would they? Tell me, Emeka, as partners, should I know about the 800 million Nigerian nairas in properties you've sold using forged signatures? The room went silent. What? Emeka's voice cracked. And Obiageli, should you have told me about selling Mom's jewelry? 45 million Nigerian nairas worth. Where did that money go? Obiageli went white. That's not, you can't. Can't what? See. Chinidu smiled coldly. You're right. I can't. Or at least, that's what you've been counting on. Adana's eyes narrowed. What are you talking about? I'm talking about 2.8 billion Nigerian naira stolen, forged documents, unauthorized sales, plans to lock me away drugged and helpless. You're confused, Adana said sharply. The head injury? No, I'm not confused. In fact, I've never been more clear. You know why? He reached up and slowly removed his dark glasses, revealing eyes that saw everything. Because I can see. I can see all of you, and I've been able to see for 3 weeks. The shock on their faces was absolute. Adana's jaw dropped. Emeka stumbled backward. Obiagili gasped. Barrister Ogunlade began gathering papers. Sit down, Chinedu said sharply to the lawyer. You're part of this. You've been complicit in fraud. Police? Adana found her voice. Are you my family? Chinedu stood, strong and powerful. Tell me, when you plotted to have me declared mentally incompetent, was that family? When you discussed keeping me drugged for life, was that family? You heard that. Obiagili whispered. I heard everything. Every cruel word. Every mocking laugh. Every plan to destroy me. I watched you steal Mom's jewelry. I watched you forge my signature. I listened to you toast my downfall with my wine. Chinedu pressed a button. The TV screen lit up with footage. His siblings celebrating, mocking the blind fool, planning his institutionalization. Turn it off. Adana shouted. Why? Don't want to see yourselves? Another clip. Emeka at the nightclub. He can't see anything. Easiest money ever. Or this. Obiagili selling their mother's sapphire necklace. Stop. Obiagili cried. Why? You didn't stop when I was vulnerable. You didn't stop stealing everything I'd built, everything I'd sacrificed to give you. Chinedu's voice rose with 20 years of frustration. I gave up my youth to raise you, my chance at a wife, children, my own family, because I promised our dying mother. And how did you repay me? By celebrating my blindness as an opportunity. It wasn't like that. Adana tried weakly. Wasn't it? You always acted like you were better than us. Emeka shouted defensively. You've never worked a day in your life. Emeka, neither have you, Obiagili. Everything you have, I gave you, and you hate me for it. Because it wasn't generosity. Adana snapped. It was control. Then you should have gotten jobs. Built your own lives. But no, it was easy to plot to steal everything when I became vulnerable. The door burst open. Inspector Okoro entered with officers. Adana Akoli, Emeka Akoli, Obiagili Akoli. You're under arrest for fraud, embezzlement, forgery, and conspiracy to commit kidnapping. Kidnapping? Adana gasped. Institutionalizing someone against their will for financial gain? That's kidnapping. As officers handcuffed them, Obiagili begged. Chinedu, please. We're your family. Your blood. Chinedu looked at her coldly. I'm not doing this to you. You did this to yourselves. We're your siblings. Emeka shouted. Our parents would never forgive you. Our parents. Chinedu moved closer. Dad worked himself to death. Mom died of grief. Their last request was that I keep this family together. I kept that promise for 20 years. But you dishonored everything they stood for. So don't you dare invoke their names. You self-righteous bastard, Adana hissed. I am better than you, not because I'm richer or smarter, but because I know what loyalty means. And it's not this. As they were led away, Chinedu spoke with finality. Adana, Emeka, Obiagili, you are no longer my family. You're criminals who happen to share my DNA. This isn't over. Adana screamed, but her threats faded as they were taken away. Alone with Inspector Okoro and Barrister Chukwuma, Chinedu stood at the window. I should feel victorious. But you don't. I feel alone. For 20 years, they were my family. And now, you have justice, Inspector Okoro said. And people who actually care. Came Ngozi's voice from the doorway. Ngozi. Of course I came, sir. I've been giving testimony. Making sure those thieves never see daylight. She approached him. Your siblings taught you what family isn't. Let me show you what family can be. You deserve everything good, sir. 6 months later, Chinedu stood in court watching sentences delivered. Adana Akoli, 15 years. Emeka Akoli, 12 years. Obiageli Akoli, 10 years. As they were led away in chains, Chinedu felt only profound sadness for what could have been. 2 years later, Chinedu stood before the Neoma Akoli Foundation for Single Mothers and Orphan Children. Ngozi stood beside him as executive director, earning proper salary. Her daughter thrived at university. Your mother would be proud, Ngozi said. I hope so. She wanted me to take care of family. I finally figured out what that means. He'd also learned to trust again, slowly. He was dating a professor who'd known nothing of his wealth when they met. His company thrived under proper management. And he'd learned to say no, to set boundaries, to recognize the difference between generosity and enabling. That evening, Chinedu looked at an old family photo, then at a new one, Ngozi, her daughter, his board members, friends. His real family now. His siblings had taught him what family wasn't, but they'd also freed him to discover what family could be. Not blood, not obligation, but loyalty, respect, chosen family. As Lego's sunset painted the sky, Chinedu felt peace. His siblings were in prison. His empire was secure. His real family was growing stronger. He'd been blind, and now he could see. And what he saw was beautiful. Justice was served. Chinedu could see everything, and he exposed his own siblings. Adana, Emeka, and Obiageli, the brother and sisters he raised after their parents died, are going to prison. The ones who called him the blind fool, who stole billions, who planned to lock him away, they got what they deserved. And Ngozi, the loyal maid who tried to warn him, she became director of his foundation. Her daughter got full education, and she became his real family. What did you think of this story? Could you send your own siblings to prison if they betrayed you like this? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you love watching these siblings face justice, give this video a massive like. Subscribe to African Tales by Zion for more incredible stories of betrayal and karma, and hit that notification bell. Remember, family. Real family is about loyalty, not blood. See you in the next story.